Hello everybody, I'm Nick, and in this video I want to talk about this discussion that has been going on for quite some time now, talking about Microsoft killing open source libraries or packages in .NET. And the latest target of this discussion have been eventing frameworks. Now, I'm not going to bore you with the details about this because I have made a video on it already, but basically Microsoft is looking into adding some eventing or messaging capabilities in .NET. It was planned for .NET 9, but it was pushed later because they want to do it right. So in case you don't know, Microsoft backtracked that decision, and it probably will come at some point, but it's not coming in .NET 9, obviously because .NET 9 is out already. It might be out in .NET 10. But the reason why this was worrying is because libraries like Mass Transit or also Wolverine, as well as Service Bus and others, have this sort of capability already, and it's something you can import in .NET and then just consume messages and keep using. Now, even though if you read through this, this is quite different, I think it can be adapted and be plugged in to do what these other libraries can do. And there's a history of Microsoft doing this. So I want to take a look at the history, and please leave a comment down below as I go if you think that there's actually truth in this discussion, if in fact Microsoft sort of shouldn't be doing this because they are harming the ecosystem. And the first one goes all the way back to Nancy and NancyFX. In case you don't remember what NancyFX is, because it's been a while, NancyFX was an open source library that allowed you to write sort of get, post, basically just build APIs in .NET like this. In a time where nothing like this really existed, this was like a production ready way to consume messages. And if this looks familiar, it's because it's ultimately what minimal APIs ended up being. This sort of map, get this, and then a delegate which you consume is exactly what we had with Nancy. And Nancy was revolutionary because it worked with Mono. It was like this amazing cross-platform open source way of consuming messages. But obviously, it was really unsustainable. And as Microsoft released .NET Core, which was by nature then cross-platform, and eventually they launched their own minimal APIs, NancyFX didn't really have a reason to exist. In fact, I think it died even before minimal APIs came out. Then a reiteration of this in the name of Carter also came out. People are not really using that either. So you can say that, .NET Core and Microsoft with their approach killed Nancy. I think this is not really a statement that I can get behind, because I think .NET Core was necessary for .NET, and this was just collateral damage. However, lately in the .NET 9 release, if you remember swashbuckle.ASP.NET Core, this Nuget package coming out with basically every API you've built until .NET 9 in .NET, more than 500 million downloads. This package is no longer part of the template because Microsoft opted in to use their own OpenAPI documentation generation in .NET 9 and implement it even further in future versions. Now, the reasoning was that this project was no longer maintained. However, upon that message when it came out, the project started picking up again. However, Microsoft just couldn't take the risk of depending on some third-party author and said, you know what, we'll just do it ourselves. And I'm not sure this is the right approach, because why don't you go ahead and just maybe hire the person to implement it for you? Because now they're even promoting Scalar, not even Swagger, as a way to visualize this. And it goes even further, because on the same topic, Newtonsoft.json, the very popular high performance, it's good enough and extremely flexible, more flexible than everything out there really, has been updated in a very long time because everyone nowadays is moving towards system.text.json. 2.9 billion downloads, and it came out way after the Newtonsoft.json library. Of course, James has been hired in the team and is doing stuff in the Aspire dashboard. But as you can see, this package came out not very long ago. 2.9 billion downloads. The original package has 5.5. So the new package is at around half. And even though it's not downloaded as much on a daily basis as Newtonsoft, it will get to that point where this will eventually overtake this package. Ultimately, this stopped because Microsoft hired the person. They got them off that project. They made their own alternative, and everyone is now going to be using system.txt.json, and hopefully one day this package will match what James had done with that other package. And it goes even further, because AutoFac, which still exists, and many other libraries, like for example Lamar or Structure Map, which is the previous version, or Lamar, or any other dependency injection container like Ninject, which is one I was using back in the day, or Unity, the DI framework, all that was basically killed overnight when Microsoft released their own .NET dependency injection framework in .NET Core. Even Lamar is like, oh, we're retiring it. However, a few months later, there was an announcement saying that, yeah, okay, we will continue with a new version because the service provider is awful, which I kind of agree. I don't know why they went with the service provider, even though this will continue and it will be feature-wise a better package than the built-in DI container. I don't think it has any chance of being used and adopted at all, 7.7 million downloads and 3,000 per day. What is the dependency injection one for Microsoft? I'm assuming the abstractions is 6.5 billion and 2 million per day. That's nuts. That's insane. So it takes 3 days for this package to achieve whatever, or 4 days to achieve whatever Lamar has achieved in all this time. People are just not, it's so easy to trust another package, even though it might be superior on a performance level or even on a feature level. And it goes even further, because Microsoft just released, or they're looking to release, because it's not actually out yet, the hybrid cache library in ASP.NET Core, a way to do double tier cache where you can have a local cache in memory and then a distributed cache, and play around with what you keep in memory, what you push into the distributed cache, what you synchronize, and all that. This package, and even the name for this package, by the way, is basically a copy and comes from Fusion Cache, which is a library that has been made by Jody Bonnet, who was the one to even suggest the hybrid cache name, because originally Microsoft had a really, really, really bad name, and he said, please, no, call it something better like hybrid cache, so they used it. And even though this is coming out from Microsoft, this library is better in every single way, including the way it's doing tag invalidation. Even when Microsoft solution is out, this library will still be better. And from what I hear by Jody, you'll be able to integrate it into hybrid cache. But there's so many people that will just go blindly and use hybrid cache just because it's coming from Microsoft. And the last victim I want to show is Aka.NET. In case you don't know, the actor model implementation for .NET has been there for a very, very long time. And as you can see, tons of downloads. If we go in Nuget, 15 million downloads. But for a sort of niche sort of thing like this, it's quite a lot. But even on GitHub stars or downloads, Microsoft All-ins, which got way more backing since .NET 8, which I'm really glad for because I think it's a brilliant package, has already exceeded, well, in its core, whatever Aka.NET has managed to do in all these years, and it's only gonna go bigger because people are just more likely to trust something like this, because All-ins is used in Xbox and Halo and Skype and in so many other areas. So here's the question. What do you think about this? What do you think about Microsoft finding something that the community member did and basically saying, screw you, maybe we'll give you a chance to join us, but we're gonna put you on something else, or just we're gonna make this built in, and your package will basically just naturally die and you're going to be supporting a shell of itself. It's a very polarizing thing, even for me, because I do believe that bringing something in from a framework standpoint makes it better if you put the right people behind it. However, it's not a sign of a healthy open source ecosystem, because if you just eventually support everything internally, you have no developer ecosystem and no innovation, because the moment you innovate, you have the worry that Microsoft will just take this and just integrate it into .NET, and your package will just go disappear. It's a very tricky one, so that's why I want you to leave a comment down below and let me know, what do you think about this? Just if you know any other stories like this, where something existed and Microsoft just brought it in-house and technically killed it, leave it in the comments down below and let me know. Well, that's all I had for you for this video. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, keep coding.